Alright, so once again, I've been living in this bus long enough. It's been about a year since I've changed this hydraulic oil, and the bypass valve is sounding like it's got some dirt in it. So we have a little bit of this stuff left over from last time. I think this is like $68 or something stupid, but it's the list of stuff that works for this. So we're going to use this little tube since I don't have my suction ball out here, and it's like one of those pump-up vacuum things. But anyways, I'm going to drain some of this out and put some fresh stuff in there and see if it helps us. I'm not sure how many cycles are on this. There is a cycle counter back there, but definitely gets a lot of use. Through the power of gravity and some sort of something or other, we are now draining this this thing. Might take a little while. Also, dumping this in there probably requires a funnel, but I didn't look at this very closely. It's a little bit larger than the opening, and we'll figure something out. Fluid doesn't look bad at all, but I don't know. Service manual says you're supposed to do it every year, so who am I to argue with printed words on a page? Honestly, drinking this stuff is probably better for you than whatever came in this cup originally. Now that I'm looking at this new fluid, it does seem a lot more liquidy and less viscous than that stuff. That stuff seems to have gotten really sticky over time. This is almost like water or something. I mean, look at that color and how it flows. This stuff, well, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's definitely a lot more viscous. So, yeah, I think we're doing something here proper. Okay, we got it pretty much filled back up. Now we gotta bleed the air out of the system. To do that, you raise it up with the pump, mess, and then open the manual valve to let it bleed out. And then you do this maybe about 5 times, and it gets all the air out of the system. And then once we're done with this, I was noticing that a few of these bolts down here are loose. Like, that one's crooked. That's part of the roller mechanism for this thing that goes in and out. So I'm gonna grab my ratcheting end wrenches and check all these bolts on both sides. That one right there, you can see, is a little bit crooked, so that needs to be tightened up. Okay, let's see if we can get these bolts tightened up here. Oh. Well, that's no good. So that holds this rail that everything rides in and out on. Yeah, there's definitely a piece of bolt stuck in there. Well, that's no good. Let's check this one. Yeah, it's a little bit loose. Tighten these up. Those ones are fine. That's good. So, definitely no good. Let's check the ones here on the other side. Man, I'm gonna have to drill that thing out of there. I think I know the answer to that. Yeah, this one's a little bit loose. Is it stripping out? Ooh, that did not feel good. Let's pull this out and inspect it. Where did it go? Yeah, looks like it flew back there somewhere. Alright, so we got a couple of broken bolts. Huh. I wonder if there's enough clearance to through bolt those things. So that's how much clearance we have right there. So, well, regardless, I'm gonna have to get those things out of there. Dang it. So those are both clearly broken, so the lift, I guess, is technically still usable, but yeah. Let me ponder this for a few minutes. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go and buy a right angle drill, I guess, because there's no clearance to fit in there with the regular one, and get some broken bolt extractors or easy outs or whatever. While I'm sitting here with my finger in my nose, though, let's see if we can see the cycle counter. Oh, there it is. We currently have 8,006 cycles. So when I got this bus, it was under 50. I think it was maybe as low as 20 something cycles. But yeah, I mean, we're still well within the margins of what this thing was designed for. In the service manual, under heavy use, it was either 2,500 or 3,500 cycles every month. So 7,800, we're not doing too bad. Okay, we got lucky on one side here. I managed to get enough torque on it from the outside to pass it all the way through. And we're not going to be that lucky on the other side because there's no way I can fit a drill over there. So I'm going to have to go buy that right angle drill, but I think we're going to be good on this side. I might even have one of these bolts in stock. Let's see here. Okay. So here's this one. As you can see, I was able to get a little bit medieval with that thing, and I pushed the lift all the way in so there's no load on the end of that whatsoever. The one on the other side broke a little bit more. What's interesting is a few days ago I backed onto the lift and I heard this noise. It was one of those noises where it's like, that was a bad sound and I shouldn't ignore it. I looked around a little bit, couldn't figure out anything that was going on really. Yesterday I was doing some laundry out here when I pulled the lift back out because I had to get into here to use the air compressor for some reason. But I was out here doing laundry, I pulled the thing out, and right when it came to the last little bit, the cassette went down. I was like, oh, that's no good. We needed to change the oil anyways. And I happened to notice when I was leaning over here pouring water bottles of hydraulic oil in there that our bolt was loose. So anyways, I'm glad I found this. I'm glad I checked the other side because yeah, that's no bueno. Well, that bar does have a lot of strength. You put enough point loading on the end of that, so that bolt right there is fine. This one's not. And these roller wheels that you can't see at the moment, probably about 65% of the load is right on the end of that. So it turns out when the lift is all the way out, there is zero clearance right there. The back part of the cassette is physically touching that. So we got to get bolts that are exactly 1 inch long. I measured with my knuckle. It's from this crease to the end. So I'm gonna see if I have anything in here. I've got a bunch of bolts, but anyways, good times. Ooh, Nelly, things are working out, at least on this side. I happen to have a couple of bolts left over from something else on this bus, I don't know what. But these are the right thread pitch, they're the right length, I think. So let's see if we can jam this in here. Oh no, is this thing already bent? Yeah, the holes are down there. See how that's pointing down? I'm gonna have to get the pry bar out and pry up on this. Man, oop, out of focus. Man, it's a good thing I found this. This could have been bad. They don't make this lift anymore. I mean, I could probably get that remade if I need to, but that's a big deal. It's like removing the lift from the bus sort of thing. All right, let's find the pry bar. I could hear the eyeballs rolling around in everyone's head when I bought this on a live stream. Not today. Anyways, we have a pry bar. Look at this thing. Yeah. Once again, Dan, why are you saving scraps of wood? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because that just fits right in there. And it lets the pry bar get the proper amount of purchase on this. All right, we're going down here and loosening up the rest of these bolts just a little bit so we can flex this whole thing, because this piece of metal here is clearly bent. Yeah, now it's gonna bend and work. BRB. Hallelujah, our thread survived. The bolt is in there. So I'm gonna tighten up, well, it's sunny in here. I'm gonna tighten up the rest of these going back here now. And yeah, and it didn't even stick through here. It's the right length. Yeah, okay. I'm happy half of it's done. This is gonna be a whole thing over here, because anyways, we'll worry about that later. Yeah, sweet. Thank you, pry bar. I'm feeling the urge for some reason to inspect the next bolt back on this other side. Yeah, looks like there's a lot of load on that. It just popped out at an angle. Oh, that's because this whole tray is sitting on it. Yeah, looks fine. Okay. Want to see something funny? The bolt on this side was broken in 3 places. Anyways, I think I've ruined a pair of jeans with grease. I'm covered in filth, but I got the bolt in here. I'm gonna get up off the floor now and clean up a little bit, and then hopefully before it gets dark I can get back out here and pick up the rest of my tools. It's been a few days since we made the repair on this lift with the broken bolts and changed the fluid and whatnot. Seems to be working great. Not having any issues. Things seems a little bit more stable and solid now. Really interesting though with those broken bolts. I never would have thought to check those, but clearly it's an issue. And while the lift was basically new when I got this bus, I never really inspected any of that. But now that I know it's something to keep an eye on, that's being added to the list of, you know, daily or weekly to make sure that everything is good. I'm amazed there's only 7,800 cycles on this. That's not bad. We're still well within the margins of what this thing was designed for. Granted, it is old. That lift is from 2012. And the bus is from 1994. It was retrofitted after the bus was built. But anyways, yeah, I think we're doing good here. Lift is in functioning order again. I guess it was not, but bad things were about to happen, so we got it taken care of. Okay, so YouTube's been getting a little bit weird in regards to ads and monetization and all that. I've been getting messages from them saying that I have to enable more ads on my videos, which drives me absolutely insane. You may notice that pretty much all of my videos don't have any ads before the video. There's no ads during the video. The only ones are at the very end. Now, YouTube ad revenue is somewhat negligible in the grand scheme of things. People that watch that have YouTube Red or Premium or whatever they're calling it this week, that works pretty good. But I figure there's a number of channel members, there's a number of Patreons, there's other people that donate and, you know, buy stuff off the gift list and whatnot to help with the bus project, that I figure there's no reason to run ads. They're super obnoxious and they drive me insane. However, they've been telling me that if I don't start putting ads on some of my videos, they will do it for me and I won't have any control over them. So, I tried this once a long time ago, years ago, just for no reason, but now that YouTube is kind of forcing my hand, and I've been hearing this from some other creators as well, we're gonna do an ad break. I do have control over the type of ads a little bit, so they're not going to be the really long ones. But right after this clip, there's going to be an ad break. If you have YouTube Premium, you won't see anything, but they will be skippable ads. So anyways, I apologize for this. I'm not going to do it in every video, but this one, I'm going to put in a short ad break, and we'll see if this appeases the YouTube bean counters or whatever. So anyways, enjoy whatever's coming up next. I can control the ad categories and whatnot, but yeah, anyways, why did I say enjoy ads? Anyways, here's a few seconds of whatever the heck they decide that they want you to see. I'll be right back. Okay, you joined me after a lot of work has been done over the last couple of days. Pretty hot outside, and I don't think I filmed any of it, but I figured I would at least show the final product now. So this here bus was equipped from the factory with the interstate travel and cold weather package, which means it gets an 80,000 BTU diesel-fired Webasto heater, and it gets like 85-90 gallons of toilet tank capacity, basically. So I don't think I ever recorded anything in here. I'll try and find the footage, but there was another secondary tank right here. Well, actually, it was this thing right here. That's about 45 gallons. And the way the system worked was basically the toilet up top, once that got full, you could pull a primary gate valve and it would drain everything into this tank for later holding, thus giving more capacity to the bathroom system. The bottom of the existing tank that's built into the bathroom is right here, and I think that's around 65 gallons, something like that. But the way it used to work was that secondary tank was right here. You can see the standoffs that it was sitting on, and there's a little gap below it, and there's the rear bracket. So there's a gate valve there. You pull that, drain everything into there, close that back up. You could recharge the toilet with chemicals and be good for, you know, however much longer. And on the bottom of the other tank, you can see there's sort of a weird hole here. This section is actually fiberglass. That original hole right there, on the bottom of the other tank, there was another gate valve you would open, and then sort of a pipe that went down. And the idea was you would park this thing over a dump station, come back here, pull the valves, rinse everything out, good to go. Well, here where I'm at, I've got a septic tank, so I drain this thing every so often, and I'm not able to move the entire bus and park it over the top of something. And there was no connections or anything like that. Enter this little pump right down here, called a macerator pump. I talked about it before, kind of gross, but it's basically a garbage disposal. But let me tell you, if you get an RV or a trailer and they have an option for a macerator pump, pay whatever they charge for it. It is the best thing ever. Let's back up here a little bit. So yesterday that's the engine right there, by the way, and this is our 6-cylinder AC compressor for the chassis AC. But yesterday I was dumping the tanks, got that all taken care of, starting to recharge the primary tank with chemical and water, and I came back here and I heard some dripping from the top tank into the bottom tank, which, as you can see, is no longer there. The gate valve that was in there, I knew it was old and crusty, and I figured it was going to need to be replaced at some point, but that time has finally come. Now, I wanted to remove that secondary tank because I have no use for it. Just me living in this thing, this 65 gallons is plenty, and there's no reason for the secondary one. Plus, it opens up all this space here. Again, I'll see if I can find a photo with that in there, but you couldn't get around that tank. It filled this entire area. Now, the starter's back here, one of the fuel filters is back here, the AC pump, the alternator's right there, and anyways, there's a bunch of stuff you'd have to pull that tank to get to. So I took that as an opportunity to pull it out. There were some bolts here on the back that I never would have been able to reach. Luckily, someone somewhere along the way removed those. So all I had to do was pull these two bolts and pull the whole thing out of here. Then I started looking around for replacement 4-inch gate valves. Turns out they don't exist, but I was able to find one on Amazon. Got that installed in there. We've got a Fernco with an adapter, and basically what happens when you need to drain this tank is you grab that handle and you pull, and then you immediately turn on that pump. And obviously before all that, you connect a garden hose to this, which this is the dedicated garden hose right here, and that thing will pump up to 100 feet, and basically you can just dump it down a septic system or a storm drain or whatever local regulations permit. But basically, there's no odor, there's no mess, there's no dripping or anything. You just connect a garden hose, plumb it down, fire the thing up, and it pumps your whole tank in about 4 minutes. So once again, look up macerator pump on YouTube. They're great for sailboats, they're great for RVs. Actually on a sailboat, it's almost necessary because you can't pull it over a dump station. But trailers, anything. Like I said, buy it. It's the best thing ever. It sounds disgusting, but trust me, it's worth it. The other thing too that was a bit annoying was I had that pump in there before, but I had to put that fitting on the bottom of this tank. And as you can see, the ground is right there. And we only had this distance right here of space underneath that secondary tank to work with. So I had to grab the pump and that hose and everything down there, and it was a huge pain. So anyways, I'm glad that's gone. Everything's back to normal now. I've got a bunch of water in there. And of course, yesterday I charged it with chemicals and wasted about $15 worth of chemical. And it was leaking. By the way, the stuff I use, I'll link it down below, but it is septic safe and doesn't use formaldehyde and all that stuff. I won't say it's good for the environment, but it's none of that hippie green, you know, pack your stuff with, you know, hay and horsehair and all that. It actually works, but it's not as caustic as the old stuff used to be. And it's blue. Anyways, enough about that. I'm happy I got this thing taken care of. And actually right now I've got an oil leak I need to track down. You can probably see there, I think our alternator oil pressure line is leaking a little bit. You can see the bottom of the alternator there. And yes, this is an oil-cooled alternator. That's how large it is. But also it looks like maybe our valve cover back in there could be leaking. I'm not sure. This rust is nothing to worry about here. That's just like surface stuff. I do need to get in here though and power wash a bunch of this. But now I'll be able to get to it because, you know, I can get to everything. Man, it looks like a mess on the camera. Oh, and here's our jump starting post right here for the engine. Yeah, that thing was obnoxious and it needed to go. This is a good excuse to take care of it. Oh, and that's that HVAC vent I need to put back in once we get the water heater taken care of. But that's going to the scrap pile. Okay, so what exactly is left on this bus project before we're like done? Obviously we'll never be done, but what I'm gonna call the finished project is when the basic systems are installed, and right now that has to do with plumbing. So, next step is going to be removing these seats, putting up a wall right here to cordon off the bed area. Then we're going to be removing those other seats because the bed right now is just, you know, spanning on plywood and 2x6s between there with the mattress on it. So, going to build the entire bed area. Then back here, the kitchen sink is going to be right here on a counter. Once we get rid of these seats and have a wall right here, we'll have space right here. Plumbing's underneath here, shower's right there. So all the plumbing tanks are, well, they're actually under here. But anyways, it's logical for the sink to go right here, even though the rest of the kitchen's over there. Then that window back there is going to get blocked off on the inside. Basically, just like we did this one here. Gonna put some blackout tent over it, use some 2x4s, skin it with plywood, and use riv nuts to basically bolt the thing to the spaces between the windows. I guess you can't really see any of those, but yeah, that's all attached right there. Then here's our shower stall. We're gonna have a wall coming here, a wall going there, sliding door for the bathroom, and once that gets put in, we'll know exactly how much space we have here for the kitchen sink, and then I can build that out. So, sounds like a lot of work. I guess it kind of is. I'm gonna start by putting the wall up there. I can do that myself. Well, I'll need help to get the seats out, but that wall can be built in 2 4-foot by 4-foot squares of plywood. So I'm gonna do that first. Then next, this window is getting blocked off. The shower stall doesn't weigh anything, so I can just pull it out of there. Once that's blocked off, then I can figure out exactly where I want the shower to go, because we have a few feet of variance here. So I need to figure out exactly where I want that for how much room we need in here. I think it's gonna go a little bit closer. I'm gonna have like a bench on the wall. But yeah, anyways. That'll get closed off, blah, 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 whatever. I'm hoping to have this stuff completed by this summer. I'm feeling pretty good, and I've been motivated to get some stuff done. Like I said, we got the water heater down there, the pump, all that's ready. I just need to get everything else installed in here. This dresser thing is just temporary, as well as that hanging or whatever. Whatever. The new air conditioner there has been rocking it. that inverter drive or variable drive compressor works awesome. Saves a lot of power, keeps it nice and cool in here. Look, I even got a TV mounted on the wall, so I can watch TV while I'm sleeping or whatever. The hose situation's a little bit funky, but, you know, it works. So anyways, yeah, we're coming right up on 2 years I've been in this thing. It's a lot of work. I probably wouldn't be able to do this again, but yeah, here we are, and the end is in sight, I believe. So anyways, thanks for watching, and yeah, see you in the next video, or whatever you say.